Yo, what's going on, YouTube? Yeah, man, War versus Kovalev. It's going down tonight, but I just want to give my thoughts about this fight. Um, Look, man, I heard like maybe one breakdown of the fight or whatever like that. People been talking about it for a while. This War Kovalev thing, and especially the last performances and stuff like that. War versus Barrera, and then some other dude that should not be named. I don't even think anybody remember that Ward had a second fight or another fight after the Sullivan. I think it was Sullivan Barrera fight. But anyway, long story short, man, I don't think anybody's thinking about the mental aspect of this game. You know, who's more mentally sound and who will mentally stay on top of their game. So follow the game plan from the opening bell to the final bell, man. To the final bell, man. When it's all said and done, and in my opinion, man, from what I've seen as far as like the careers of these guys, and I've seen these guys fight several times over, I'm gonna have to just pick, Andre Ward, man. I'm gonna have to pick Andre Ward because you gotta think about it, man. The game is what, like any sport is what, 90% mental, what, 95% mental. Anyway, it's up there. You know what I'm saying? It's in the 90s. It's not 100%, but it's like what, 95% mental. As far as sports or whatever. All right. Now, cause you see it many times, man. You see it many times. The dudes that's got the most skills doesn't always win, and some people wonder, like, man, how is it this guy's got more of a skill set, but the dude that has less of a skill set or tools to work with ends up winning the fight, and it's usually the mental game, man. It's usually the mental game. Okay. Now, as far as Ward, he has patience and stuff like that, and I think his patience really is not something that you see in the ring. It's also outside the ring. As far as his promotional issues with what was it, Goose and Tudor Promotions and stuff like that. He showed a lot of patience with that. His injuries throughout his career showed a lot of patience. I never heard him make any type of excuse or anything like that, talking about how he was like injured in a few fights regarding his shoulder, unlike Kendall Holt or something like that. Kendall Holt or Manny Pacquiao as of late. Complaining about their shoulders. Oh, my shoulder was hurting me. What was it? I think it was Lacey. I think Lacey maybe had a lingering like shoulder injury throughout his. Jeff Lacey, left hook Lacey. I think he had a lingering shoulder injury or something like that throughout his career. But you had these guys that have these injuries, supposed injuries, and yet they don't give themselves time to heal, or they don't take any time off, and they don't get healthy. But it looks like Andre Ward, being that he gets injured, he's prone to injury, but who's to say that he's not willing to fight injured, fight injured. So despite his circumstances, for all we know, he could probably be in a bad financial circumstance for all we know, but from his actions, just based on his actions alone, or whatever the circumstances was, he chose to get healthy. Okay, he chose to get healthy. So would it be a foot injury, shoulder injury, or whatever like that, leg injury? He didn't go into the fight. He didn't go into a fight injured or I haven't heard anything, afterwards saying he was injured. He got injured in sparring or anything like that. So I think that shows a lot of, patience. Patience with himself, um, and whatnot. And then you gotta think about it, man. As far as the mental game, he's very well aware of who's in his division and stuff like that. I remember in one press conference he made a statement. He's like, man, he's like, this is the only sport I know where if you take a loss, you get a cut in pay. You know, so there's no one in my division, that I'm not, paying attention to. That's not coming up in the game that I'm not paying attention to. So I think he's really very much aware of like who's coming up. He probably is very much aware of like who's the amateurs as far as that concern that's coming up. Who's in the gym, whose name is hot and stuff like that. Because this is a very small world in boxing and stuff like that. It's a very small world. Okay, so excuse me, man. Excuse me, man. Got a little bit cold, but yeah, man. And then as far as the mental game with Sergey, man. As far as the mental game with Sergey, we've seen it a lot, man, in some of the fights against lesser opponents where Sergey Kovalev looks to get frustrated, man. He looks frustrated. He's gotten frustrated sometimes, man. Um, and then he's very emotional, man. I remember the Ishmael Shalak fight, man. He's up there talking something Russian to Ishmael. I don't know what he said, but it didn't look like he was saying anything nice to him before he knocked him out and stuff like that. And then you can see in other fights where he just he doesn't look composed, man. Like, it's hard to explain, but you see some of the frustrations and stuff like that in his face when he's not getting his way, man. When he's not getting his way in the ring, when someone makes it hard for him, he gets frustrated. Um, I want to believe he showed moments of frustration in the Gene Pascal fight, man. In the Gene Pascal fight. So, but yeah, man, the B Hot fight, definitely one of them. He wouldn't have it his way. Um, but the latest one was the Isaac Chilemba fight. The Isaac Chilemba fight. He looked flustered, man. He looked flustered, and with that, I think comes the stamina issue, man. The stamina issue with him. Yeah, man, my bad breaking the action, but yeah. So, with that frustration, I think he gets brings on exhaustion. But as far as going back to the mental game, man, check this out, man. This dude already has stated that if Andre Ward fights dirty, so that's already in the back of his mind that this man might rough him up. You know, he might rough him up because he said if Andre Ward fights dirty, I'm gonna kick him. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm gonna kick him or do something dirty back to him or something like that. But anyway, man, because you got to think about it, man. Now other stuff's been mentioned, man. Other stuff's been mentioned. This is a few pointers I want to point out right here, man. I'm gonna end it right here. Okay, Kovalev, he's got the great equalizer. We know that he got power. All right, he got power. He's got John David Jackson or something like that. Some offensive guru in his corner. I guess he's supposed to be the equivalent of Freddie Roach. And he got Don Turner in his corner. I guess supposed to be like this jabbing expert or something like that. Evander Holyfield's ex-trainer and stuff like that. But you got to remember this. Think about it. It ain't three men going in the ring versus Andre Ward. It's one. Okay? Now, Sergey Kovalev, ain't got no great jab. Okay, a lot of people gonna tell you like, oh, Sergey Kovalev, he got this great. No, he ain't got no great jab. Same thing with Victor Postal, man. Same thing with Victor Postal and Terrence Crawford. To talk about that jab is gonna do it. Nope. Now you need a jab to neutralize, someone else's skill sets. As far as like, the great jab could probably like. I mean, you can see what it does to Floyd Mayweather, man. Dude has one of the greatest, defenses ever. But I mean, if you have a great jab, snapping jab, like a tremendous jab, or even just maybe above average jab, like Marcus Maidana, who failed to implement his jab in his assault versus Floyd Mayweather, you can do a lot of things, man. To force a fighter to reset, break it down the dude's defense and stuff like that. But no, Sergey Kovalev doesn't have that, man. It's not a great jab. Now, does he use his jab? Yes. Is it great? No. Because you got to think about a lot of fighters he went against ain't necessarily all-time greatest light heavyweight fighters. We talk about the same dude that went 12 rounds with Bernard Hopkins. Think about that. Okay? Think about that. 12 rounds with Bernard Hopkins. Then he go to distance with Isaac Chilemba. He's supposed to knock this dude out. Dude ain't got no punching power. But then again, see, people don't understand that Chilemba was the same dude that beat Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew was a heavyweight in the amateurs and stuff like that. So you gotta think about this dude able to hold his own versus some of these big boys, right? Okay. So as far as punching power and stuff like that, he's got it. But is he able to land on a defensive specialist, a rugged defensive specialist? We talking about Bernard Hopkins 2.0. Bernard Hopkins 2.0, man. Think about that, man. Bernard Hopkins 2.0, right? That's what's up, man. Bernard Hopkins 2.0. I don't know if he can do it. He can probably do it. But I don't think Andre Ward's going to let him. And no matter how frustrated, how mad Sergey Kovalev gets, Andre Ward, you best believe he got just as much grit and just as much, pride and ego in him that he's gonna, it's gonna be a battle of wills. It's gonna be a battle of wills, and it's gonna be Sergey Kovalev that's more than likely gonna submit. Because everybody deep down knows Sergey Kovalev is pretty much a nasty guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a nasty guy deep down inside, man. The whole thing he did with the Adonis Superman Stevenson being a monkey and all that other stuff. All that nasty stuff he was saying to Ishmael Shalak in the ring. I never heard him mention anything or run his mouth in the ring to anybody else, but he had something to say to Ishmael. I don't know what that was about. I don't know what he was mad because he half and half or something like that. With the whole race thing, I don't know. It took Ishmael Shalak to figure that out when he was growing up. He didn't know what the hell people were talking about. He was like, "What you talking about? I'm just a human." If y'all know where that comes from, that's Fear of the Black Hat, man. If y'all never seen that movie, y'all gotta see it, man. It's a cult classic, Fear of the Black Hat. But anyway, man. Yeah, man. I got Andrew. I'm gonna edit it. It's some several other points I had, man. But I probably ran it on a little bit too long. No, we haven't even gone 20 minutes, but it's got like 15 minutes up into the video. But anyway, as far as, Andre Ward's injury, I'll bring that up, man. His injuries and stuff like that. Like I said, man, this dude took his time coming back, man. He never rushed back from an injury, man. Even though he had an injury, he had many injuries before. He never rushed back. He always made sure he was healthy, okay? And you got to think about it. His last two fights could be considered 12 rounds of getting the rust off. 24 rounds of getting the rust off. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that, man. That Sullivan Barrera, man. You tell me to me, it looked like Andre Ward carried him. Because, Andre Ward's landing those left hooks like there was no tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, Sullivan Barrera couldn't stop him from throwing those left hooks at all, man. Every time he threw something, Andre Ward was coming back with that left, knocking him upside the head. Had him dazed, stanky leg a couple of times, man. Like, quite a few times. More than two. So, in saying that, man, another point I want to bring up as far as the weight, if anybody's concerned about Andre Ward's weight, you have to remember that the Andre Ward in the amateurs was fighting at light heavyweight, okay? That's in the amateurs now, light heavyweight. And if you look at this, especially the Sullivan Barrera fight, I don't know about the other fight, but I'm looking at him now, and he's supposed to be coming in at 175 pounds. He don't look too much like he looked like he could probably go up a few more pounds. You know what I'm saying? He don't look healthy. Like, he looks skinny. No, he don't look like the most healthiest dude. You know what I'm saying? Because this guy is not muscular. He's not ripped or anything like that. I think he's doing that for a purpose so he can make weight. So, is he not just as big, if not bigger than Sergey Kovalev? That's something to think about, man. That's really something to think about. So, in saying that, this game being kind of mental, and that Andre Ward is a defensive specialist. Sergey Kovalev, he can be outboxed. He can be outboxed. Chilemba showed that, just with his jab alone, the man can be outboxed. He can be outfoxed. That's what it is. He can be outfoxed. Not outboxed, but outfoxed. Battle of the wits. When it comes to getting grimy, Sergey Kovalev, the only thing I seen him use was that forearm. The forearm shiver. You know what I'm saying? That block, that forearm block. That Mayweather block. I seen him use that. But other than that, man, yeah, he ain't got it, man. I don't think he's gonna last too long. I think Andre Ward is gonna get to his head, and Sergey Kovalev, he's gonna foul out. Okay, so that's my prediction right there, man. I got Andre Ward winning via Sergey Kovalev disqualification. He's gonna foul out the fight, man. He's gonna get disqualified. All right, I bet y'all not. Watch and see. Sergey Kovalev is gonna he's gonna do some kind of fouling or something like that. But it's probably gonna be on some kind of rabbit punches or something like that. But he's gonna make sure he fouls out of this fight, and he's gonna call Andre Ward a whole bunch of names and stuff like that. He's going to try to blame it on Andre Ward, and Andre Ward, is going to be seen as the bad guy, as the dirty fighter, B-Hop 2.0. All right, man. I'll catch y'all later. Bye.